This is called Mickey TV. Okocha and Mikel Obi have fired back at Jemie Carraghar. They've given it to him. Woto. Our African legends are saying they will not sit down and watch someone who has not achieved anything better in international football to undermine our African Cup of Nations. Jemie Carraghar is a pundit on Sky Sports, but when he says that, he projects himself as if he is the best brain in football. They were discussing Mohamed Salah and his chances of winning the world best player this year, considering the performances that he's putting up at Liverpool. And Carragher made a comment that didn't go down well with Africans, including myself. According to Carragher, Salah will only stand a chance if there are no other major tournaments apart from the European leagues. Meaning, if there are other major tournaments like the Euros and the Copa America, it will go against Salah simply because the African League, which is the Afcon, is not that important compared to the Euros or compared to the Copa America. This didn't sit down well. Michael Richards was even trying to correct him on the show. That don't put it that way. It's equally competitive. Because these players you are talking about, the Salah, Sadio Mane, Okocha, other prominent players that the English Premiership and the other European leagues have benefited from are all players that are coming from the African League and are all players that play in this Afcon. But Carragher made a face. When you watch the video, it is out there. This didn't go down well with African legends. Listen to Okocha for me. He responded to the guy squarely. Listen to Okocha.
There are some players that will say something, you just overlook it. You know, if you look at their career, if you look at the type of football that they played.
So here Okocha was jabbing. He was jabbing, and if you know the person, you know. So when Carragher hears today, he has not mentioned the name yet, but he will know that Okocha is referring to him. That there are some players, even the way they played their ball, when you take a look at their career, you understand that they don't know much about international football. They just had the opportunity to play because of where they are coming from. And even with that opportunity, they never achieved anything. So he doesn't take comments from people like that serious. He expects people like Messi, Ronaldo, achievers to come out and make a case. That is where he will take it important, not just any player. Let's continue.
Played. You can understand, you know. I mean, you won't want your son to be like Carragher.
Hey, now he made it clear here that you don't want your son to be like Carragher, referring to football, your son to play like Carragher. Okay.
So you can never appreciate African football or the talents that come from Africa.
And he put it right. I'm happy that we have legends like Okocha who made a mark in international football. People like Okocha will not sit down and watch someone denigrate the name of Africa. When it comes to producing talents, the world is supposed to accord us that respect. Take a look at the major leagues in the world now. You'll find a lot of African players there. I remember the last Afcon that we played. During the time of the Afcon, it affected the popularity, the influence of the Premiership. People were not patronizing it like before, just because of what? The Afcon that concurred or happened during the same period. But you see, sometimes if they are writing the story, they don't want to put it out the way it's supposed to be. It is just a matter of time. It is just a matter of time. Their intentions, their plots will be made known. Nature works in a mysterious way. I'm sure that if Carragher had known that this will be the backlash that will be coming, he wouldn't have made that statement there. Or even when Michael Richards tried correcting him, he would have retracted. But nature works in a way. Sometimes if you have certain diabolic plots, nature in its own wisdom will find a time to expose you. Mikel Obi also enjoyed international football, enjoyed professional football. He was an integral part of the Chelsea team that won the Champions League. Mikel didn't also spare him. Listen to this. The African Cup of Nations is as big into bracket as the Euros. I've played in it and won it. It's not in his So he used the F word, plays to discredit the Afcon. He sits there week in, week out, teaching and coaching people on how to win the Premier League, and he never won it. And there's one man who has issues with Ronaldo and a lot of players. We are not saying don't criticize, but it should be constructive in a way that it will not affect the other person. Do it in a way that will not step on toes. That is the beauty of the game. Nobody is perfect. But you see, when you make the assessment in a way that shows respect, though you are making your point. Ferdinand commented on this issue as well, but nobody has a problem with Ferdinand. Ferdinand acknowledged the fact that yes, when it comes to resources, the Afcon cannot be matched or compared to the Euros. But when it comes to producing talents, and how do you even classify something to be important? Territorial control even plays an influence. The Afcon is played in Africa for Africans. So definitely the influence that it will have in Europe will not be compared to the influence or the dominance it has in Africa where it is played. Just like the Copa America. When they are playing it there, you should expect the influence that it will command there to be the same as the influence it will command in Europe. So in classifying something to be important, you need to consider all these. But you cannot just sit at your comfort zone and generalize. Carragher, we beg you. On Twitter, a lot of people are not happy. Let me read this to you. So, Mr. Bayo, it's hilarious to see an average player like Carragher talking down Afcon. Does he even know what it feels like to win an international trophy when he has none? I love Arsenal, but when Nigeria is playing in Afcon, Arsenal doesn't matter to me. This is coming from an African. So definitely, like he's saying, that he loves Arsenal. Definitely somebody in Europe might also choose watching Arsenal over an Afcon match. So to classify something as important, we need to take all these things into consideration. So that is the news that is out there. And sometimes when it happens, this we also use our platforms to amplify it, so the world will also know that Africa plays a major role. Africa contributes a lot. The Salah in question bagging in the goals. Where did he start from? He started from Africa. So let's always appreciate it that way. Drogba was making all the international headlines from where? Africa. Michael Essien from where? Africa. Currently, we still have the guys. Osimhen from where? Africa. Lookman from where? From Africa. Africa. Respectfully, I bow here. Thank you.